Good afternoon. We are working on our last PO of our Unit 3, finishing up with working on some of those equations. Today we are doing PO18. I can solve two-step equations. So yesterday we were working on one step. We saw it was and 2 days ago, we've been working on one step. We're either adding or subtracting, or we were multiplying or dividing. We're going to combine that today. And it's very important. It's very important that we pay attention and do not distract anybody, because that's how we do things incorrectly. And that's how we make simple mistakes. So I appreciate all the eyes I have up here and the attention people are giving. We do not want to try to work ahead, because we might be doing it wrong. So we should not be working ahead. Solving an equation with two steps is merely building off the last two objectives and combining the two ideas. When we combine those ideas is what we really need to pay attention to make sure we're doing the correct step in the right order. It's at this point we move away from the fact families and the using logic alone, and now we're focusing on the opposite operations. When I was walking around earlier, there were some people saying I did all opposite operations because it was easy. Yeah, that's going to really help you out today, because you are in the groove of doing those opposite operations. That's the name of the game from here on out. We are not doing mental math. We are showing all of the steps, because it's going to get more and more complicated as the year goes on. Next year is going to be a lot more complicated, and we need to understand step by step. So it might be simpler steps as we begin, but we're still going to show them so we have those steps mastered. So now I'm in the middle of a lesson and I can't talk to you guys because you're not doing what I teach you. So you can make the binder and you can understand that's what's there. Okay, so if we have 5n plus 7 equals 32. We can see that there are two operations happening. We have our plus 7, and we also have 5 times n, that 5n. The opposite of addition, what did we learn is? Subtraction. And the opposite of multiplication is? Division. Yay, I'm so glad we all have that right off the top of our heads. This is important. We're not doing PERMDAS right now. This is not an order of operations type thing that we're doing, because we're not solving an equation, we're finding the value of the variables. So really pay attention to how we do it. Oh my goodness, look at this. Here is where you need to be careful when solving for a variable. There is an order that must be followed, and it is the opposite of PERMDAS. So we're going to do SADMER. So instead of doing PERMDAS, now we're doing SADMER. SADMER.
What happened to merge?
We must work backwards because we're undoing the equation to solve for the variable. We're not solving the equation, we're undoing the equation. So we're going backwards. So we're going to do SADMER. So as when solving for any variable at the end, we always put our answer into the equation and see if it balances out. See if it is a correct solution. Okay? So we're going to practice some of these. And we're going to remember to use SADMER. So we're gonna remember that we need to show our work, and we're only doing order of operations, so there's only one method we're gonna do. And this is important. Usually, I say, oh, whichever way you're gonna do it, as long as you get the correct answer. This is very important. I need you to solve it and show your work in a specific way. Why am I going to be nitpicky on this, that we solve it a certain way? Claire?
Because maybe there's other ways to do it, but they don't give you the correct answer every time.
Okay. Grace?
So you can see where you're wrong.
Okay. Damien?
Because that's the only way that works.
Here's the thing. Sometimes people do some mental math, or sometimes people write it in a different way, and then in 3 months, when we're going to build on this and go even deeper and bigger, we get confused because the way we were solving it, we can't build on it in a more complicated way. So I want us to start out right now in the beginning, solving it, showing our work in a very specific way, because I know what's coming in the future. I've taught this class for a few years. My kids all had this class with these binders with Mr. Schultz, and I helped them with their homework.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, right, Mr. Schultz was at your old school.
He was at my old school. So I've been knowing this binder for many, many years. I know what's coming next. So I'm not saying do it my way because I'm being mean. I know what's going to come, and I know what's going to help you. So thank you to my friends who are not trying to solve it right now, because we're waiting patiently to see the right way to show our work, because it's going to help us in the future. Okay, I'm going to be a stickler now because it will help you in the future. So we have 5n plus 7 equals 32. What's the first operation we have to do? Remembering that we are doing SADMR. But it's hard for me to go backwards. SADMR. What's the first operation I'm going to do, Henry?
Subtraction.
Yeah, because I have addition here, so I need to do the subtraction. So I'm going to do my subtracting 7. Notice how I'm writing minus 7 underneath the plus 7. I'm writing minus 7 underneath the 32. So I know plus 7 minus 7 zeros out, right? A positive 7 and a negative 7 equals 0. So I'm left with 5n equals, what is 32 minus 7? 25. So now what operation do I have to do, Jude?
Division.
Division, because we know 5n means 5 times n. So I need to divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Do I need to put a 1 in front of my n?
No.
No, because what number, anytime we see a variable without a number in front of it, what number do we know is there, Claire? The 1, because 1 times n is n. 1 times any number is just the number. So this is important to know because it's going to come up in future objectives. When you see a variable by itself, we know there's a 1 in front of it. Now we have 25 divided by 5 equals what, Henry? 5. We're going to circle our answer. And then we're going to, am I done? Can I go on to the next one?
No.
Why not, Damien?
You need to check your answers right.
Show that you are checking your answer. So I need to go and I need to put it in now. 5, instead of 5n, it's 5 times 5 plus 7 equals 32. So 5 times 5 is 25 plus 7 equals 32. 25 plus 7 is 32. 32 equals 32 is balanced out. I'm showing my work. I'm balancing out both sides. So yes, my final answer is 5. Henry.
I actually thought of something you could call it SCAD Mr.
It does look like Mr., doesn't it? All right, let's try another one together. 2n plus 17 equals 25. What's the first operation I'm going to do? Lauren.
Subtract 17 from 17 and 17 from 25.
I need to subtract 17 from 17, and I need to subtract 17 from 25. So plus 17 minus 17 zeros out. So I can just bring down that 2n. I don't need to put plus 0. And that equals what is 25 minus 17? 8. Notice how I'm doing it directly underneath. This is part of the strategy that I want you to know. We're writing everything right underneath. And we just keep writing as we go down. I'm bringing that equation down. I'm funneling it down to get to that answer. Okay? So this is important. You need to show that you're doing it to both sides so we remember to do it to both sides. What is the next operation I have to do? Claire?
You have to divide by 2.
Yeah, I have 2 times then, so I need to divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is my 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. I am not done yet. I need to put it back into my equation. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 17 equals 25. 8 plus 17 is 25, and 25 does equal 25. Let's look at our next equation. How am I going to solve this one? Good?
You would add 5 to 91 and
I'm going to add 5 to the minus 5 and add 5 to the 91. So this is a negative 5 plus 5. It zeroes out. So I'm going to bring down my 12n. What is 91 plus 5? 96. What is my next step? Claire?
You have to divide by 12.
I'm going to divide by 12 because I was multiplying by 12. 12 divided by 12 is 1, so I get just n. 96 divided by 12 is what? It is 8. Grayson said it kind of as a question. Let's see if Grayson was right. I think he was, but we're going to check our work to make sure. So we have 12 times 8 minus 5 equals 91. So 12 times 8. 8 times 2 is 16. Carry the 1. What is 96? Oops. So I have 96 minus 5 is 91. 91 equals 91. Let's look at our last one on this row. Negative 9 minus 10 equals 41. What is the first operation I have to do? What do you think, Madden?
41 plus 9.
Why are we going to plus 9?
Because of the subtraction is 1.
Because we've got negative 9. I've been saying that negative sign means we're subtracting. So the opposite of subtracting is adding. So when we see that negative 9, we're going to add 9 to both sides. So negative 9 plus 9 gives us our 0. So we're going to bring down, this is important, we're going to bring down the minus 10n. What does minus 10n become? Negative 10n. Ooh, it's magic. 41 plus 9 is 50. What's my next step? Adding.
divided by 10, or negative 10.
Divide by negative 10. You cannot forget that minus sign is a negative. So we're dividing by negative 10. Negative 10 divided by negative 10 is a positive 1. 50 divided by negative 10 is what? Damien?
Negative, 500?
Divided.
Oh, 5.
Yeah. 50 divided by negative 10 is a negative 5. So let's put that into our equation and make sure that we did this correctly. So first I'm going to do my multiplying. And I've got 10 times negative 5 is negative 50. So I've got negative 9 minus that negative 50 equals 41. When we do minus a negative, it's adding. So now I have negative 9 plus 50 gives me my 41. So we need to understand how that negative is minus. How minus a number becomes negative that number. Let's look to see how we do our multiplying, or how we do it with the dividing. N over 4 plus 13 equals 15. What's my first step? Damien?
I'm gonna change the addition, but subtraction, so minus 13.
To both
Yeah,
sides.
both of them.
Okay, so 13 minus 13 and 15 minus 13. So 13 minus 13 zeros out. So I have N over 4. 15 minus 13 is 2. What's my next step, Dominic? I have N over 4. Yeah, because N over 4, that fraction bar I've been telling us, fraction bar means divide. So the opposite of divide is multiply. So I'm going to multiply by 4. So what that means is this becomes 4n divided by 4. And I'm going to multiply by 4 over here. 4 divided by 4 becomes just n. Okay, so when we're dividing, we have to multiply it through. And we can divide out that 4 divided by 4. And what is 2 times 4? 8. So let's see if our answer is 8. We have 8 divided by 4 plus 13 equals 15. So 8 divided by 4 is 2 plus 13 equals 15. Yes, 2 plus 13 is 15. So final answer, n equals 8. Let's do one more on this page. N over 5 minus 20 equals negative 40. What's my first step? Grace?
You add, add 20.
To both sides. I'm going to do it to both sides. So negative 20 plus 20 zeros out. I have n over 5 equals negative 40 plus 20 is what?
Negative 20.
Negative 20. What's my second step? Fiona?
Multiply both sides by 5.
I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. My 5's cancel out, so I have my n. Negative 20 times 5 is what? Negative 100. Let's put it into our equation and see if we get negative 40. So negative 100 divided by 5 minus 20 equals negative 40. Negative 100 divided by 5 is negative 20 minus 20. Does it equal negative 40? Negative 20. I'm going to go to the left 20 more, and I do get negative 40. You're going to do the last two on this page yourself. Let's look at our work page. It says more practice, show your work and show that you checked your answer. So we're doing the exact same thing. Do not forget your word problems.